and let us all do we can to build a better future.
We should not be surprised that there's a certain tone in Washington, D.C., that there's a certain way in which our politicians like to work, and that is they don't want any problems. They don't want to work harder than they already have to. That's if our politicians even do work. In fact, before we even go further, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 if you think our politicians in the United States Senate and House and even presidents and anyone else that's in the DC swamp bubble. Type 1 if you think they are working hard, that they do care, that they are hardworking, and maybe they're working on stuff that just we don't know about. Type 2 if these are the most laziest, egomaniacal bastards ever to exist in human history, because they don't know how to work even 10 minutes of their lives. Seeing a whole lot of twos there. Very good. That's why I love this audience. By the way, extra option. You can describe the work ethic of these politicians. No such thing as a wrong answer. I want to see some creativity here, folks. So today on Morning Blow on BSDNC, Joe and Mika, we're discussing House leadership retaliation for problematic House members. Now, the thing is, let's be very clear here. Your elected officials in Washington, D.C., be it a part of the Democratic or Republican Party, they all put on an act. Now, with the force of vote that we saw with Kevin McCarthy, let's be very clear here. The Freedom Caucus got what it wanted, and Kevin McCarthy, whether he likes it or not, is stuck with them because they've shown that they will do anything they can to make that man's life a living nightmare so that he can appease them. Now, the thing is, we hear from a Democratic lawmaker that pretty much confirms everything that we have said about the squad and the progressive lawmakers in the Democratic Party, what Jimmy Dore has said about them, what Convo Couch has said about Democratic lawmakers, what Revolutionary Blackout Network has said about Democratic lawmakers. This is the real truth. They are too afraid to stand up to leadership. They won't do it because apparently Nancy and everyone else that's part of the higher echelon of leadership in Washington, D.C. will punish them. So that means AOC talking all that game of raising the ruckus, making people feel uncomfortable was just that, hot air. AOC will never, and let's face it, Nancy's no longer Speaker of the House, but she would have never challenged Nancy in the first place, and she's not going to do anything to challenge Hakeem Jeffries. She's not going to challenge the Democratic leadership. She's not going to do anything. So if you are waiting in wings, somehow hoping and praying that somehow our lawmakers will fight for us, or as we have seen with the aftermath of the force of vote, how pundits, Ryan Grimm, for example, were saying, will the Democrats ever do their own version of force of vote? And we got nothing but a word salad from Rokana. I want to play this video. And again, shout out to Case Study QB. I don't know how he sits through corporate media, but he found this gem. And by the way, folks, again, he is still wrongly being censored on Twitter for posting not controversial images, but clips from corporate media. So let's play it for the people. Mika, blink twice if you need help. Oops.
You know, I served in the House, and I will say that if you'd taken just one of those things that we listed there, our leadership on the other side would have come together, had a meeting 5 minutes later, would have taken that person off of every committee, and they would have been an outcast until they quit Congress.
Joe just said everything that you need to know about Congress right there. How many minutes in we're in? 24 seconds in. This is only a 1 minute, 3 second clip. But Morning Blow just told it to you as it is, the straight truth. They don't really want to raise a ruckus. And let's say the squad were authentic. Let's say, for example, they were going to raise a ruckus. The leadership would have pushed back because the leadership doesn't want to work. The politicians don't want to make your lives better. So I'm pretty sure AOC and the squad members all got a little sit down with, if not Nancy, but someone else was in the Democratic leadership. Don't challenge things. Don't fight. Here, in case you're just joining us right now, you'll get to hear it again. Because after all, Morning Joe served in Congress. I wonder, did anything happen while he was in office? Never mind. I'm not an expert in things.
I served in the House, and I will say that if you'd taken just one of those things that we listed there, our leadership on the other side would have come together, had a meeting 5 minutes later, would have taken that person off of every committee, and they would have been an outcast until they quit Congress.
So there it is. An outcast. But see, that's not what's going to happen in the Freedom Caucus. Freedom Caucus knows better. And this is not an endorsement of them. No, this is never going to be an endorsement of the Freedom Caucus. But if they're smart, they'll make Kevin McCarthy's life a living nightmare, and he has no choice but to appease them because they have power. And whether anyone wants to admit it or not, the Freedom Caucus does have support of their most diehard supporters who can turn out to vote.
Pelosi would have taken my office and put it on the street on Constitution Avenue.
Okay, so now you have this little jag off here saying Pelosi would have put my office out in the streets because Mama Bear doesn't want to be awoken from her nap. Mama Bear don't want to work. Mama Bear just wants to drink her vodka and eat her ice cream. Hear it again one more time, just so all of you hear it firsthand.
Pelosi would have taken my office and put it on the street on Constitution Avenue.
How much things have changed? I mean, so what's it like working in a Congress where this is one of the most influential, powerful people in Congress?
Well, number one, it's scary. Number two, she may have influence.
Number one, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. I'm sorry. You're saying that it's scary. Well, what? I mean, are they holding a gun to your head? Are they threatening your family? Are they blackmailing you? I mean, come on. How are you supposed to get things done? The people elected you to be a fighter for them in the House of Representatives. And he says, it's scary. It's scary. Oh, Nancy's scary. Hey, I get it. You know, she's been in politics for God knows how long. Doesn't know when to quit. Too much of a child herself in her own right. Tulsi Gabbard's right. Congress is filled with elementary school kids who are stuck in 88-year-old senile bodies because our politicians have not emotionally matured since elementary school. These people are egomaniacs. These people do insider trading. Here, let's hear it again.
Powerful people in Congress.
Well, number one, it's scary. Number two, she may have influence, but she doesn't have respect. And the only respect she probably gets is from Kevin McCarthy. And if you have that man's respect, it's a pretty empty check. So, I go to serve the people of Arizona. I get to do that every day. I get to do it with honor, and I don't have to suck up to people.
Okay. He said the word honor, a politician using the word honor. I'm surprised his head didn't cave in because a United States politician and the word honor are not good bedfellows.
Like Marjorie Taylor going to do it. I'm proud to be able to do it that way.
Yeah, that's it. But see, the thing is, this little boy right here, at least at the end of the day, and this is not an endorsement or anything, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting what she wants. She's on committee seats. She's back in power. And you better believe, with everything that you hold dear, she is going to want to get everything she wants. She is wanting to make sure that she maintains her power so that she can be reelected in the next 2 years. That's how this works, folks. But remember, if you think that somehow electing more progressives in the Democratic Party is going to shake things up, remember, they're all going to get that little sit down and be told to shut the F up. But see, here's another thing, too. Ro Khanna decides to weigh in on the extreme right getting powerful positions on the House Rules Committee, including 2 anti-Kevin McCarthy for the Freedom Caucus members. So here's the thing, row your boat, Ro Khanna. You could have, if you actually had a spine and your fantastic friends in the Congressional Progressive Caucus, could have twisted old Nancy Pelosi's arm. You guys could have gotten some things, some concessions. You could have formed a strong voting bloc, but they didn't because the Democrats want to portray this image of, oh, we know how to work together. We're unity. We're unity. Here, listen to Ro Khanna, a guy who probably couldn't be able to even negotiate with Hakeem Jeffries. This guy will probably be knocking on Hakeem Jeffries' doors like, please, sir, can I just get a thumbs up from you? Again, we are ruled by weak people.
Although there's also the guts of this deal, and I want to ask you this, Congressman Khanna, because today they announced the Rules Committee. And the Rules Committee is the way that the House majority and the Speaker particularly wields power. And there was a lot of talk during those failed votes that there have been committee slots promised to the most far-right members of the caucus on rules, which is a huge deal, right? It's a fulcrum of power. Today we got news that he's likely to name the following lawmakers, House Rules Committee: Nick Langworthy, Ralph Norman, Thomas Massey, Chip Roy, Aaron Hutchin. Now, Massey, Roy, and Norman are all like pretty hardcore, right? And Massey's kind of a Ron Paul figure, and sometimes he's voting completely by himself. Roy and Norman were part of the, kind of opposition to Kevin McCarthy. How significant is to have these people serving on that committee?
Chris, here's why this matters, and it's not some insider baseball thing. These three people basically now have veto power on any bill that comes to the floor of the House. So you know how extreme things are when Donald Trump is worried that these far-right folks may cut Social Security. Donald Trump is begging that, please don't cut Social Security, please don't ban abortion in all cases. But these folks are further to the right than him, and any deal that McCarthy does.
I just want to let y'all know, I predicted this would happen someday. I predicted someday this was going to happen. Now, this isn't on subject, but I just want to again, I hope all of you heard how Ro Khanna was saying about some of the Freedom Caucus members that Trump was saying that they're too far right wing. I remember in 2020 and even in 2018 too, on the radio show, I said to my colleagues, someday there's going to be a situation where the media rehabilitates Trump's image just like they did with George Bush Jr. Now, at the time, I joked that one day Trump is going to be on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and they're going to be dancing and singing. Now, Ellen's show is canceled, but someday, and everyone, I want you to work on your surprise face. That's your homework assignment. Pretend to be surprised when one day Trump's on one of these talk shows, whatever popular one that is now on daytime television. I don't pay any attention to daytime television, but one day Trump's going to be on that little show, and he's going to be doing a dance, and everyone's going to say, hey, Trump wasn't so bad, as they focus about the next big-time villain. I told you it was going to happen. This is just the beginning. Ro Khanna is now saying, hey, Trump's telling some far-right Republicans they're going too far. Maddening world. Hey, but you know what? We'll all have fun together as we're just like, I never saw this happening. Because who would ever imagine that one day George Bush Jr., whose administration led us to a devastating conflict in Iraq, that opened up the door for us to be in other war zones as well, would one day be rehabilitated. Now everyone's saying, oh, look, George Bush Jr. is hanging out with Michelle Obama, and he's making goofy faces with her, and she's patting him on the head. Can't wait for it for Trump. It'll be hilarious. It'll be funny, and you'll be crying on the inside too.
Does on debt ceiling or anything else, they're going to have a veto over, and really, they're running the House.
Yep, and that's the truth of it, folks. That's what's going to happen. And I want to quote Roger Meadows, who tipped $2 here on our channel. He serves the party first before his voters. Abolish political parties. I couldn't agree more. Everyone prepared to be shocked. Prepared to be shocked. Everyone's just prepared to be shocked. But you know what? I think it's important for us to see what it looks like when a high-profile politician is called out and challenged. Now, again, this video, it came out in October of 2022, but I think you deserve a palate cleanser. All of you deserve it. All of you deserve it. All of you deserve it, because sitting through 2 clips of corporate media is punishment enough, and I care for my audience. I truly do. And I don't want you guys to be sick to the stomach. So here's a nice palate cleanser for all of you. when AOC was challenged. And this happened again in October, so the video's old, but very relevant to this day. This is what it looks like when you bring the ruckus.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because there are a bunch of war hawks. Okay, you originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now?
You are being rude. You are being rude. That's what it looks like when you raise the ruckus. Now, we all know, thanks to Morning Blow, just signing it out, that leadership has a monopoly over the representatives, and AOC was never going to challenge Mama Bear. Simple as that.